think it will itch that more horror leaning scratch. No, wait, what? That's the wrong way around. Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten, and today we are doing some anticipated releases for July and August. Now this is not going to be all the new books that are coming out in the next couple of months, so if there are some that I have missed off this list that you are very excited to read, then do let me know in the comments below. But for now, let's just get straight into it with the preface that these are all dates that I got off of Goodreads, so they might be slightly different depending on where you are. Starting off on the 2nd of July, we have Midnight Rooms by Donyea Coles. This one is a horror book. I'm not sure what age rating this is going to fall into. The cover kind of gives me potentially young adult vibes, but regardless, I am really intrigued by this one. It does say it's for fans of Catherine House, and I really liked Catherine House. That was a very unusual, creepy, dark academia book. Very weird. Not everyone got on with it, but I really liked it. In this one, we are following a main character, Arabella, and she is mixed race. She is an outsider with no fortune or connection, so she's very baffled when this young man from a very wealthy family expresses an interest in marrying her. So she agrees and goes with it, one, to help her uncle out, and also just because she's curious about who this person is. Except when she gets to the house, she realizes that things are not what they seem. She can't distinguish reality from her dreams anymore. She keeps waking up with mysterious bruises all over her. There are certain parts of the house that she can't get into, unexplained rooms. There is just weirdness going on, and this does sound really fascinating. This is definitely one I want to be reading, and honestly I'm tempted just to purchase a copy of this because it has a lot of elements that I would probably like. I love the cover, I love the concept of this story. I'm expecting something weird and gothic, and if it delivers on that, I would be very happy with this. We then have Never a Hero by Vanessa Len, and yes, this book is actually already out, but this is the paperback release, which is coming out on the 9th of July, which I am very excited for. So I read Only a Monster, really enjoyed it. This is a young adult fantasy, deals with time travel, really enjoyed it, and the concept of what makes a monster and what makes a hero, because our main character is the monster of the story. Really enjoyed it. I love exploring the different themes. It is a book I've spoken about quite a bit because I think it's an underrated one. So very excited to have the paperback come out so I can pick up a copy, because I don't want to have mismatching copies. I'm like that. I like them all to match. So yes, very excited to continue on, and I'm not sure if it's just going to be a duology or not. Regardless, I'm really looking forward to it because this is one that since I've read I will still think about from time to time, so definitely want to get to the next one very soon. So that is Never a Hero, coming out in paperback. Does it count as an anticipated release? For me, yes, because it's one that I've been wanting to get for a while. We then have Spell Shop on the 9th of July, and this is by Sarah Beth Durst. This one is being marketed as a cozy cottagecore fantasy, which has me intrigued. I do want to try some more cozy cottagecore fantasy. I'm actually doing a cottagecore themed weekly reading vlog in July, which I'm very excited about, and this one I feel would be a good one for it, but I do have my eye on 2 other books instead. So I think depending on how that vlog goes will then depend if I get this one from the library or if I actually go out and purchase a copy if I really like the other book. For this one, we are following Kyla, who has always had trouble dealing with people, but as a librarian, that's great, she's never had to deal with them. However, there's now a fire. She and her assistant Kaz, a sentient spider plant, which just sounds amazing and is part of the reason why I put it on this list. I saw sentient spider plant and I was like, tell me more, I want to know more, I love plants. But there is a fire that goes on, there is a revolution. As a result, the library goes up in flames. They steal whatever books that they can get their hands on and try to escape, and now she's dealing with the fact that there is a revolution. There is a very handsome but nosy neighbour in this little town. There's lots of stuff going on. It sounds really interesting. She's also opening up a spell shop, which comes with its own risks and consequences of sharing magic. It sounds really cute. It kind of gives me Legends and Lattes vibe, more plot line to it, because I mean Legends and Lattes vibe, because in Legends and Lattes they open up a coffee shop. In this one we're opening up a spell shop, so we've got that similar comparison, but I feel like there's going to be more stakes in this one. I don't know, I am intrigued. I think it would be a really cute time. We then also on the 9th of July have a book that I never expected to have, if that makes sense. Like, that doesn't make sense. So it's called The Darkness Between Us, which is a continuation of The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller. This is a book that I've always considered a standalone, and always was before now, and I really like this book. This is a book I have reread a couple of times. It is a young adult fantasy romance. We're following our main character Alessandra, and she is determined to get her way with everything, and her plan is to seduce the king, marry the king, kill the king, and take over everything. It's basically her plan. Now in The Darkness Within Us, we're following Alessandra's older sister, who thought that she was doing very well for herself, styled herself out as this airheaded beautiful girl, ended up marrying this rich guy who is then dying. She's like, great, I'm going to be coming into money and freedom, and it's everything I wanted, until of course her sister Alessandra shows her up, and now there is this troublesome nephew that is now coming along to claim her husband's fortune, and she is like, no wait, this is not what I wanted, you now need to die. So I feel like it's going to follow very similar plot line to The Shadows Between Us, but be with Alessandra's sister, and I don't mind that. Like, I actually think that's probably the only way that this storyline could continue on well for me, is to have more of a companion novel and from a sister's perspective. So I'm really intrigued. I'm looking forward to reading it. I will probably get in hardback to match this, because I already have this one in hardback, and as we saw, I like my copies to match. But yeah, I think it will be a lot of fun. Like, this is one that I've reread a few times. It is one I really enjoy, so I kind of expect The Darkness Within Us to be like a similar thing. Whether I enjoy it as much remains to be seen, but I am definitely going to be getting a copy. Then on the 16th of July we have Portrait of a Shadow. This is by Miriam Metui, and this comes out 16th July. I already said that bit, but this is a horror book, and I do believe it's going to be more young adult horror leaning, just judging from the cover. In this one we have a missing sister and a mysterious boy, and a painting that holds the truth beneath its peeling edge. May knows that Inez is missing, but that missing things can be found, regardless of the fact that her parents have given up, regardless of the fact that the police aren't investigating anymore. She is going to find out what's happened. So she goes off to her sister's old art studio and sees this portrait, and weird things seem to be connected to it when she's investigating. I like the idea of this. I think it's going to be a really eerie, creepy horror novel, but with a murder mystery element, or not necessarily murder mystery, but definitely a mystery element added to it, which I enjoy. And to be fair, a lot of horror books do have that, like a mystery element intertwined. So yeah, I'm intrigued by this one. I'm not really sure what to expect from this one, but I like the cover. I mean, it's creepy as hell, and I like the premise, so we're gonna give this one a try. I think, again, I'm not sure if I want to purchase, because I've really been enjoying horror books lately. I've been really enjoying that darker, more eerie, vibey centered book, so I'm not sure if I want to purchase a copy or if I'm gonna get this from a library. I think I'll check, see if my library is getting a copy, and go from there, but it does sound intriguing. On the 18th of July we have The Trouble with Mrs. Montgomery Hearst. This is by Katie Lumsden. I love Katie. Katie is a booktuber here on YouTube. I will have her channel linked below, but Katie's book is coming out. This is her second book. She's done 2 historical fiction books. The first one was a lot darker in tone, more of a gothic leaning historical fiction book, which was The Secrets of Hartwood Hall. Very good. This one is going to be a lot more lighter and bubbly in tone. In this one we are seeing how Mr. Montgomery is marrying this widow with 3 children, and the society is scandalized at this outrage. How on earth could he do this? And you're just seeing the gossip from the town. I don't think we ever get Mr. Montgomery's perspective, or I'm not sure. Instead, it's lots of perspectives from everybody else that are chatting and talking about it, commenting on everything that's going on. really excited for it. It just sounds like it's going to be a really fun time. I'm actually going to the book launch for this, so I'm very excited, and I have pre-ordered a copy. I can't wait. I'm really excited, and I'm just so like in awe of the fact that Katie's done this, that this is her second book. It is really great. If you like historical fiction, if you like classics, would really recommend picking up Katie's work. We then have on the 30th of July, we've got Our Wicked Histories by Amy Goldsmith. This looks like another young adult horror book. Again, as I said, I'm on a bit of a horror binge at the minute. This one, I'm not really sure what to think. Like, I feel like this is definitely one that I'm going to get from the library. But this one, we're following our main character, Meg, and Meg doesn't really care about local rumours and stuff. Instead, she's really focused on the fact that she had a scholarship to this exclusive British art school, but now she's lost it. She has been invited to this party happening at Wren's place, which is Wren Hall. There is this lake, something's really creepy in the lake. She doesn't care about any of it. She's just excited about the fact that she's been invited there because there was this incident that happened which meant everything went wrong, and now she's trying to redeem everything and claw it all back. However, this weekend takes a very sinister turn, and now people are just trying to survive the weekend. I don't really know what to expect from it. It sounds like it's going to be quite a fun horror, but also I actually don't know. I think if it delivers on the vibes, and that is definitely going to be a book that I then purchase. But for now, I'm thinking more just get it from the library. I think it will itch that more horror leaning scratch that's the wrong way around. Scratch that more horror leaning itch that I've got at the minute, that I think the young adult would then work well for it, because it will also be one that I don't have to focus on too much and can just enjoy. That's what I'm thinking, but I guess we're gonna see. Now we're going into August. On the 6th of August, we have The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. This is going to be a contemporary romance. I'm looking forward to it. I really enjoyed Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. It's a book that I've reread a couple times, find it hilarious, really enjoy it, so looking forward to another one. So this is a romantic comedy, and in this one we're following Theo and Kit. I think it's a second chance romance as well, because Theo and Kit have been a lot of things: childhood best friends, crushes in love, and now estranged exes. And after a brutal breakup on a transatlantic flight to their dream European food and wine tour, they exited each other's lives once and for all. Time apart has done them good. Theo has found confidence as a hustling bartender by night and an aspiring sommelier by day, with a long roster of casual lovers. Kit, who never returned to America, graduated as the reigning sex god of his pastry school class and now bakes at one of the finest restaurants in Paris. Sure, nothing really compares to what they had, and life stretches out long and lonely ahead of them, but yeah, is in the past, until they both decide to use that voucher on the European tour that they never did, and they end up doing it at the exact same time. It was not planned, it's just something that actually happened, and now they're spending time with each other once again. I actually do like second chance romances. I think they can be absolutely lovely. I like the fact that it's the right person but maybe not at the right time. It's just something I really like. So yeah, I'm really excited for this one. Can't wait to get it. I am thinking to purchase this one in paperback. I'm not sure if it's coming out in hardback or paperback first. I have no idea, but sometimes romance does come out in hardback, sometimes it just goes straight into paperback. I don't know. Regardless, I think I'm gonna love it, and I do want to get a copy of this because it's nice. You know, I'm not a massive contemporary romance person, but there are a handful that I do really enjoy, and I expect this to be one of them because I already know that I like Casey McQuiston's writing, so it seems like a win-win. Speaking of an author whose writing I know I enjoy, also on the 6th of August we have Death at Mourning House by Maureen Johnson. Maureen Johnson is the author of the Truly Devious series. Love that series. I enjoy it so much. It's just such a fun series with a main character that is obsessed with Sherlock Holmes, wants to be Sherlock Holmes, and of course there is lots of mysteries to solve. This one, I don't think it's going to be the same person. It doesn't look like it is. So it's not actually following the Truly Devious cast, I don't believe. Instead, we have The Fire. Wasn't Marlowe Wexler's fault? Dates should be hot, but not hot enough to warrant literal firefight. The girl Marlowe had been in love with for years will never go out with her again. No one dates an accidental arsonist. With her house-sitting career up in flames, it seems the universe owes Marlowe a new summer job, and that's how she ends up at Mourning House, a mansion built on the island in the 1920s and abandoned shortly thereafter. It's easy enough giving tours, low risk of fire, high chance of getting bored talking about stained glass and nut cutlets and probation. Oh, and the deaths. Did anyone mention the deaths? Maybe this job isn't such a gift after all. Morning House has a horrific secret that's been buried for decades, and now the person who brought her here is missing. All it takes is one clue to set off a catastrophic chain of events. One small detail, just like a spark, could burn it all down if someone doesn't bury Marlowe first. So yeah, so different cast of characters. Love the cover, that looks amazing, and I'm intrigued. Like, I like a good cozy murder mystery regardless of age range. I think they're just really fun reads, so I'm happy to get this one, which I will be getting a physical copy of. Also on the 6th of August we have another author whose work I like, and that is a new T. Kingfisher book, which is A Sorceress Comes to Call. This one is a dark retelling of the Brothers Grimm's Goose Girl, rife with secrets, murder and forbidden magic. I don't want to read any more of the synopsis than that because I know I like T. Kingfisher's work. I particularly like T. Kingfisher's darker leaning book. I am really intrigued. Now actually in July I will be reading one of T. Kingfisher's lighter romance books, which is A Paladin's Grace. I'm not sure how to feel about it. I'm looking forward to reading it. It's for the Discord book club. I will have Discord link below if you're interested. Generally speaking, as I've been saying in this, I really am leaning towards more darker gothic things, and Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher has been my favourite book by them, and that one was more on the fairy tale vibe lean of the spectrum. So I'm really excited for this one to see how we're going to tackle Goose Girl by the Brothers Grimm. I also have a collection by the Brothers Grimm, so I'm actually going to read that classic and then read this, which sounds so good. I love doing things like that. I love reading the original folklore tale to then see what they've done and what they've changed about it. Love that, especially because our folklore fairy tales normally are very dark leaning in general, so having an author like T. Kingfisher pull that apart, I am very intrigued by. So yes, this is definitely one I've got my eye on. Okay, we've got 4 more. Another one on the 6th of August is Lady McBeth. This is by Ava Reid. Now Ava Reid is an author that I have an up and down relationship with. I loved Juniper and Thorn by them. Thought it was absolutely fantastic. That was actually another Brothers Grimm retelling of the Juniper Tree. Really liked it. Liked how dark it was, liked how it explored different themes. It was really good. Then I read The Wolf and the Woodsman, and it was okay, but I didn't like it as much. Then I read A Study in Drowning, and again it was okay. It wasn't my favourite. I feel like it being quoted as a dark academia was very misleading. But we have this one, which is Lady Macbeth, and this is a Lady Macbeth retelling. So the Shakespeare play Macbeth, but we're looking at it from Lady Macbeth's perspective. I am very intrigued to see what Ava Reid is going to do with this story. Macbeth is one of my favourite Shakespeare plays. It's one that I've actually physically read and really enjoyed. So I am intrigued to see what is going on with this one. I want to get it just because it is a Macbeth retelling. This one will also be the decider going forward whether I continue to pre-order her works or whether I wait until they've come out and maybe pick them up from the library to see which ones I like, because I know I do like Ava Reid's work. It's just not all of them land with me, so it will be interesting to see where I find on this one. If I like it, and I know it's a 50-50 split, then it's more likely that I'll read synopsis. If I'm really intrigued, pre-order. But yeah, this one I have high hopes for, because like I say, I do like Macbeth. I feel like you can do a lot with the story, and Lady Macbeth is such an interesting character, so I'm really intrigued to see what we're going to follow down this way. So yeah, which I haven't actually said what it's about, but Macbeth the play, Lady Macbeth in it is the person that convinces her husband to kill people, to murder, and then goes a little bit insane herself with the fallout and the guilt. And there is a very apt scene where she is constantly trying to wash the blood off her hands. There has been artwork done on that scene. There has been so much created from that scene of constantly trying to wash off blood that isn't there. So I'm really excited to see where we're going to go with this one. Then we jump forward to the 20th of August and we have The Last Witch in Edinburgh by Marielle Thompson. This one is a lush atmospheric novel that blends witchcraft, queer love and a vibrant Edinburgh setting and Scottish folklore. I mean, that alone has me, yes please. I love everything about that. But it says here, in an alternate Edinburgh of 1824, every woman lives in fear that she'll be the next one hanged for witchcraft. All it takes is invoking the anger, the desire of the wrong person. Nellie Duncan, beautiful and unwed, keeps to herself until she encounters the Ray Women's Apothecary. There, fiery Jean Ray and the other women provide cures and teach others that they too can aid the winter deity Kalish, embracing her characteristic independence, agency and craft, in turn becoming witches themselves. Nellie finds a place and a purpose at the shop, and a blossoming romance with Jean as she learns about nature-based craft and a witch's ability to return to life after death. But the Kalish has an ancient enemy intent on stripping the power of the deity and all her witches, leaving a wake of patriarchal violence and destruction. It sounds really good. Like, it's definitely one I want a physical copy of. I think it's going to be a really good book. Like, it's definitely one that is kind of under the radar. I haven't heard anyone talking about it, but this one sounds really intriguing. Also on the 20th of August we have By Any Other Name by Jodi Picoult. Oh, this one was to do with Shakespeare. That's why I added this one to the list. So we have two women centuries apart, one of whom is the real author of Shakespeare's plays, are both forced to hide behind another name to make their voices heard. In 1581, Emilia Bassano, like most young women of her day, is allowed no voice of her own, but as the Lord Chamberlain's mistress, she has access to all theatre in England and finds a way to bring her work to the stage secretly. And yet creating some of the world's greatest dramatic masterpieces comes at a great cost. By paying a man for the use of his name, she will write her own out of history. In the present, playwright Melina Green has just written a new work inspired by the life of her Elizabethan ancestor Emilia Bassano. Although the challenges are different 400 years later, the playing field is still not level for women in theatre. Would Melina, like Emilia, be willing to forfeit her credit as author just for the chance to see her work performed? It sounds really interesting. I think this one has the opportunity to be quite profound and really explore different feminist themes, so I'm intrigued by it. This is probably one that I'm going to pick up from the library though, because as much as I think I would like it, I know I'm probably not going to get around to it soon. I mean, even my soon is like 6 months time, but definitely one that I think I would like to pick up, but probably one that I look out for in the library to see how I get on with it, because it has potential, but it could also not quite land, so we'll see. But I am intrigued by the concept of this. I think the concept has a lot of promise. And the very last one we have on the 27th of August, The Enchanted Lies of Celeste Artois. This is by Ryan Groldin. Honestly, I am pretty bad at pronouncing names. So in this one we have a lush and lyrical fantasy. We are transported to the hidden magic pockets of early 1900s Paris, a place of enchanted saloons, fortune tellers who can change your stars, and doorways that can take you to most unexpected places. It introduces us to the delightful Celeste, a con artist who will make a deal with the devil in exchange for her life and change the fate of the world. Sounds really fun, really magical. I'm getting kind of vibes of like the Night Circus. I don't know why, but I just feel like that it kind of has that same magical feel to it. So I'm really intrigued by this one. I think it has good promise, which I say about all of these because obviously that's why they're on this list. But this one does, like, I like the concept of this. I like the setting being in Paris. I like the fact that we're following a con artist and seeing what they get up to, and the fact that the devil's involved. Like, I'm really intrigued to see how all of this is going to play out. So definitely one I would like to read. The writing is beautiful. It's really gonna sell it for me and be a beautiful book. But there we are. Those are all the books for me that I'm excited to read in July and August. Again, if I've missed any off that you're excited to read, then let me know in the comments below. It could be that I didn't realize they were coming out then or didn't see them. But anyway, thank you so much for watching and taking the time to listen to me ramble about these books and the reason why I'm looking forward to them. I hope you found something that you're now looking forward to. I think if you've made it this far, then let's put the typical shopping bag emoji for this video, because it's normally an indication of the books that I would like to be purchasing at some point. And thank you so much for watching. I know I say it all the time and I repeat it in my videos, but genuinely it does mean so much that you take the time to watch these videos and me just ramble on about books. Like, it's so lovely. And if you have enjoyed it, please do consider giving it that thumbs up, subscribing, commenting. Those 3 things really help this channel out, so thank you so much. My social media links, anyone I've mentioned, will be linked below for you, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.